Hello. Okay, so this is Listen Notes. So if you're not familiar with this is a podcast search engine that, as you can see, hosts a lot of podcasts in here. Nearly everything that I've ever searched for is in Listen Notes. So it's a great place to start, especially if you're wanting to keep it out of iTunes or Spotify and you want, just another place to go. So similar to what we did in iTunes, in Apple Podcasts, you could definitely search your niche here. So as you can see, you can search people, topic, podcast name. This is all free to search. So for today's example, let's do the same one that we just did in iTunes, email marketing. Now we want to look for podcasts as the scope. So it's going to bring up some options down the side. Already, there's some, that one was the same in Apple, right? But this copywriting for business owners, I can imagine even something like that would work really well for my ideal client, for my niche. However, for this example, let's just search. So as you can see, it's tagged podcasts. We're not a robot. And it brings up a whole lot of things. So again, we looked at that one last time, so we're not going to look at that this time. I feel like that was one. I feel like that was that last one we looked at as well. There we go. Yael Cohen's on there again. But as you can see, even just a snapshot, it gives you a really good idea as to like how many episodes, when the last episode was, how often it's updated, what the average length of episode is. So you can kind of scroll down here and just see there's a lot, right? And you can set alerts, but you can see exactly what like the overview of the podcast is. So because we saw this already, let's go into this copywriting one. Now I don't really look at the global rank or anything, because again, as we were talking about, if it's a niche podcast with our target client in mind, it doesn't actually matter where they rank globally or how big the podcast is, because we know our ideal listener is listening to it, right? So great little description, scrolling down. I'm just looking to see if she has any guests. Again, you can tell that there's already some email topics that are mixed in here with the copywriting ones. Lead magnets, email marketing platforms. I can't see any guests just yet. No. So this might be one that I would be adding to a collaborations list. So as you could see at the very top here, she's only done 20 episodes. So I'd be putting her name down as somebody to invite to my next bundle or to do a freebie swap with or something like that. So it's definitely never a waste of time when you're going researching like this, but you're going to find that the podcast pitch list, as well as another list of just potential collaborators, grows at the same time. So I would be scrolling through, I would be picking out any that jumped out at me. Again, 23 episodes, so not a very established podcast, semi-weekly, but might be worth checking out. What's this one here? 23 episodes, weekly. Let's have a little look at this Samantha Browns. You can tell that I'm attracted naturally to women-hosted podcasts, which is interesting, but I do think that speaks more to my ideal client as well. So definitely take notice of that kind of behavior and the way that you find yourself searching, because I think that says a lot about your ideal clients and the business that you're building too. So again, updated weekly. Straight away, she has a guest. Looking at this, I think that she must do bundles or summits or something like that. I'll have to have a little look. Again, a guest. Interesting that she's using, very clever, she's using things like this, because I can imagine Gary Vee gets searched for a lot. So for SEO, it looks like she's Australian as well, which is cool. It's funny because most of my clients are from the States or elsewhere, the UK or Europe. It's nice when you run across a fellow Australian, another guest. So yeah, this is definitely one that I probably look at pitching. So again, I'd be going through that checklist, making sure everything aligns, making sure I'd have a topic that is different to everything she's had on here so far. I would be sending the pitch off, and if nothing else, creating a new friend in the right niche, right? That serves my ideal client as well. So you can definitely go through and do searching like that in Listen Notes, like we did in Apple Podcasts as well. The other thing I wanted to show you though is this curated podcasts. So these are curated lists recommended by the media that they're already put together. So as an example, you would be searching for a topic and there'll be a curated list that comes up. So let's say that I'm a parenting coach. If I put in parenting, which I know is very broad, but stick with me, it's going to bring up any lists that are already curated that are focused on the topics of parenting, right? So 7 of the best parenting podcasts, bite-sized parenting, 6 best podcasts for parents to listen to. So you can see these are like kind of like Spotify playlists, right? Like playlists that people have put together, that the media has put together, Romper, Independent.com, that if it is a mix of these that are targeted to your ideal client on the topics that you talk about, would be a really easy way to then go through each one and just see, okay, does this align with my ideal client? Are they publishing podcast episodes regularly and consistently? Is this something that I could bring a topic to with a different spin on it? Are they having guests? And going through that checklist, but already there's like a curated selection of podcasts that might be perfect. So I would definitely recommend playing with the curated lists here in Listen Notes as well. Again, using your niche, using your topic at the top, and then just seeing what comes up. And going through the checklist and adding to your pitch list from there as well. So they're the main ways that I use Listen Notes. Of course, there is a lot in here. So there might be something that you come across that you are like, oh my goodness, this is a really cool way to use it. Please share that with me if you do find something. But those are the 2 ways that I find super beneficial to find podcasts to pitch when we are starting to go down this strategy of podcast guesting. So I hope that was helpful. Please reach out if you have any questions. As I said, if you come up, find something that's really helpful that saves you time, I would love to know about it. But this is a really cool way that's free to find even more podcasts to pitch. So I hope you found that helpful as well.